Oh, you're going to want to settle in for this one because Hollywood's latest alleged power play reads like a script even Netflix would reject for being too dramatic. According to tabloid reports, Meghan Markle has set her sights on Jeff Bezos, and standing directly in her path, with a smile that could freeze champagne, is reportedly Lauren Sanchez. We're talking about a rumored collision between a former royal trying to reclaim Hollywood relevance and a woman who's already conquered that world without breaking a sweat. Here's what allegedly went down. Meghan didn't just take any random acting gig. She specifically chose a cameo role in an Amazon-backed MGM film called Close Personal Friends, playing herself. Now, that detail alone raised eyebrows across every studio lot in Los Angeles because Netflix was the platform that gave her and Harry their first major deal. So why pivot to Amazon? Why choose Jeff Bezos' empire? Hollywood insiders reportedly started connecting dots that spelled out one very clear message. Meghan was positioning herself in Bezos' orbit, and according to sources, it wasn't accidental. Anonymous sources close to the situation claim Lauren Sanchez spotted this strategy from a mile away. And Lauren isn't just Jeff's partner. She's a former entertainment reporter, a helicopter pilot, a businesswoman with her own production company, and someone whose Rolodex includes everyone from Oprah to the Kardashians. She knows how Hollywood works because she helped build parts of it. So when Meghan started appearing in conversations linked to Amazon projects, Lauren was allegedly already 10 steps ahead. Let's break down why this matters. Jeff Bezos isn't just wealthy. He's the kind of wealthy where funding an entire film franchise is a rounding error on his monthly budget. He owns MGM Studios through Amazon. He has the power to greenlight projects that could catapult someone back into A-list territory overnight. For Meghan, who's been searching for her post-royal identity in Hollywood, Bezos reportedly represents something Netflix never could: unlimited resources, prestige, and the kind of influence that doesn't come with corporate committees second-guessing every decision. A rival studio executive allegedly described Meghan's strategy this way: she's not looking for a job, she's looking for a kingdom. And in modern Hollywood, Bezos is as close to royalty as it gets. But here's the complication. Every kingdom already has a queen, and according to sources, Lauren Sanchez isn't the type to share her throne. Now, before we go further, let's talk about who Lauren Sanchez actually is, because dismissing her as just Jeff's girlfriend would be the mistake Meghan apparently made, according to industry whispers. Lauren built her own career long before Bezos entered the picture. She was on-air talent for Fox Sports and Extra. She founded Black Ops Aviation, one of the first female-owned aerial film production companies. She's produced films and documentaries. She moves through Hollywood not as someone's plus one, but as someone with her own reputation and power base. And here's what makes the situation fascinating. According to people who claim to know both women, there are allegedly surface-level similarities. Both understand the value of image. Both know how to work a room. Both have strategic minds when it comes to partnerships and opportunities. But the difference, according to insiders, is that Lauren owns her ambition openly, while Meghan packages hers in layers of humanitarian messaging and victimhood narratives. One anonymous source put it bluntly: Lauren sparkles authentically, Meghan sparkles strategically. And in the world they're both navigating, authenticity wins every time, because people can allegedly smell calculation from across a gala ballroom. So here's where the alleged confrontation begins. Not with shouting or public drama, because that's not how power operates at this level. Instead, it reportedly played out through what didn't happen. Sources claim Meghan started positioning herself at events where Bezos' influence lingered. The right charity galas, the right industry functions, always seeming to be one degree of separation away from a conversation that could lead to a meeting that could lead to a deal. But those meetings allegedly never materialized. Those conversations reportedly never progressed beyond pleasantries. And Hollywood's Whisper Network started carrying a very specific message. According to insiders, Lauren had quietly made it known that Meghan wasn't going to gain access to Bezos' inner circle. Not through professional channels, not through social connections, not at all. However, it's important to note that these claims have not been verified by either Lauren or Meghan directly. Now, there's a specific incident that reportedly crystallized everything, and it involves the Kardashians. Meghan and Harry attended Kris Jenner's 70th birthday celebration, which was confirmed to have taken place at Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's Beverly Hills mansion. This should have been a golden opportunity to demonstrate they belonged in Hollywood's upper echelon. The Kardashians represent the ultimate success story of image control and brand building. If Meghan could charm them, it would signal she'd finally figured out the Hollywood game. Instead, the evening reportedly became a case study in how not to navigate elite social circles, at least according to tabloid interpretations. Photos from the event were posted to social media by Kris Jenner and Kim Kardashian, then mysteriously deleted. According to tabloid sources, these photos told a story Meghan allegedly didn't want told. There she was, reportedly snapping her fingers at staff like she was still working royalty, instead of a celebrity trying to rebuild her reputation. Harry allegedly looked uncomfortable, like someone who showed up without reading the dress code. And surrounding them were women who looked effortlessly glamorous, completely at ease, while Meghan appeared tense and overly aware of every camera angle, according to observers. Sources claim the other guests were polite but distant. No one pulled them into private conversations, allegedly. No one extended invitations to future events, according to whispers. They attended the party, but they didn't penetrate the inner circle. And for Meghan, who built her entire post-royal strategy on gaining access to exactly these kinds of networks, it was reportedly a devastating failure. But here's where it gets even more complicated, according to some reports. The Kardashians were allegedly furious, not because Meghan attended, but because the drama surrounding her and Harry's awkward presence overshadowed Kris Jenner's celebration. This was supposed to be a night honoring the woman who essentially invented the modern playbook for turning fame into an empire. Instead, headlines focused on Meghan's apparent discomfort and Harry's fish-out-of-water energy, though it's worth noting that Kris Jenner later showed support for Meghan by liking and resharing her Harper's Bazaar interview, which complicates this narrative. When Meghan saw those photos, a Montecito source claims she had a complete meltdown, not because she's vain, though image certainly matters to her, but because those photos allegedly represented loss of control. Meghan's entire brand depends on curating every aspect of her public presentation. The perfect lighting, the perfect angle, the perfect message. Those unfiltered party photos allegedly shattered that illusion and reminded everyone, including Meghan herself, that when she doesn't control the narrative doesn't choose her. Again, this claim comes from anonymous sources and should be treated as speculation. And that's reportedly when her focus intensified on Bezos, according to insiders. If she couldn't charm the Kardashians, if she couldn't control how she appeared in candid photos, if Hollywood's A-list wasn't opening its doors, then she allegedly needed to aim even higher. She needed someone with so much power that none of those other gatekeepers mattered. She needed Jeff Bezos, or so the theory goes. But Lauren Sanchez had already anticipated that move, claim sources familiar with the situation, because Lauren allegedly understands something fundamental about power that Meghan apparently doesn't. At the highest levels, access isn't about charm or credentials or even talent. It's about trust and loyalty within existing relationships. Jeff Bezos is surrounded by people who've proven themselves over years, sometimes decades. He doesn't need new faces promising vague synergies and brand alignments. He has a tight circle, and Lauren is the center of that circle. Sources say Lauren didn't block Meghan through confrontation or drama. She simply made sure the doors never opened in the first place, allegedly. A word here, a subtle redirect there, the kind of quiet influence that leaves no fingerprints but achieves absolute results. It's the difference between fighting for territory and already owning it so completely that challengers never get close enough to fight. However, these are all claims from unnamed sources and have not been confirmed by Lauren Sanchez or anyone in her circle. And here's what makes this particularly striking, according to observers. Lauren has been photographed with Meghan before, at events and functions where their paths crossed naturally. She's been perfectly pleasant, perfectly polite by all accounts. There's no public feud, no obvious tension, which makes her alleged gatekeeping even more effective, because it's invisible to everyone except the person being blocked, if these reports are to be believed. Think about it from Meghan's perspective, as tabloids have speculated. She's tried multiple strategies for Hollywood relevance. The Netflix deal produced documentaries that generated headlines, but didn't establish her as a creative force. Her podcast launched with fanfare, but got canceled after one season. Her acting return was a cameo playing herself, which is essentially acknowledgement that Hollywood doesn't see her as a character actress anymore. Every door she's approached has either stayed closed or opened just wide enough to remind her she's not quite A-list anymore. Bezos reportedly represented a different path entirely. Not gradual career rebuilding, but instant validation through association with someone whose power dwarfs traditional Hollywood hierarchies. One major Amazon project with Bezos' backing could rewrite Meghan's entire narrative. It could position her as a serious producer, a bankable creative talent, someone the industry needs to take seriously. But Lauren Sanchez understands that narrative too, and she's reportedly determined to make sure it never gets written, according to sources. Because letting Meghan into that orbit wouldn't just be about professional courtesy, allegedly. It would signal that Lauren's position isn't as secure as everyone thinks. It would suggest that Jeff's attention and resources are accessible to anyone who positions themselves strategically enough. And Lauren has worked too hard, built too much, to let those perceptions take root, claim insiders. People who claim to be close to the situation say this isn't about jealousy or insecurity. Lauren isn't worried about Meghan as romantic competition, they insist. She's protecting something more valuable than a relationship. She's protecting her sphere of influence, her ability to determine who accesses the opportunities and connections she's spent years cultivating. In that world, letting Meghan in would be a strategic error, plain and simple, according to this interpretation. There have also been reports suggesting that Meghan was allegedly consumed with jealousy over Lauren's relationship with Bezos and the access it provides. Some tabloid sources claim that Meghan and Harry were not invited to the Bezos-Sanchez wedding, which reportedly added to existing tensions. However, these emotional claims are difficult to verify and come primarily from anonymous sources. So where does this leave everyone? Meghan is reportedly still trying to build something sustainable in Hollywood, though her options keep narrowing, according to industry observers. She's pitched various projects, but without major backing, they remain pitches. Harry has his own ventures, but they're separate from Meghan's entertainment ambitions. Together, they're famous, but allegedly not quite relevant. Visible, but not quite influential, at least according to Hollywood's brutal assessment. Jeff Bezos continues building his empire, seemingly unbothered by any of this drama. He's focused on Blue Origin, on expanding Amazon's entertainment division, on philanthropic ventures with Lauren by his side. Whether he's even aware of Meghan's alleged attempts to gain access is unclear, though it's hard to imagine Lauren hasn't mentioned it at some point, if these reports are accurate. And Lauren? She's living her life openly, posting on social media, attending high-profile events, working on her own projects, and generally projecting the image of someone who has everything she wants and isn't worried about anyone trying to take it, which might be the most effective message she could send, intentionally or not. Because here's the ultimate truth about this entire situation, as observers see it. Power in Hollywood isn't about who makes the most noise or generates the most headlines. It's about who controls access, who determines which projects get funded, who decides which names get attached to prestige opportunities. Lauren Sanchez has that power, not through Jeff's wealth alone, but through her own relationships and reputation built over decades. Meghan Markle is allegedly trying to acquire that power, trying to force her way into circles that haven't invited her, trying to leverage fame into influence, according to these interpretations. And the brutal reality is that Hollywood can tell the difference. The industry rewards people who build slowly and authentically over those who try to skip steps through strategic positioning and calculated charm. So the question everyone's quietly asking is this: what's Meghan's next move? Does she keep trying to break into Hollywood's elite tier, risking more public failures that further diminish her brand? Does she pivot entirely to something outside entertainment? Does she finally accept that post-royal celebrity might not translate into the kind of power and relevance she's seeking? Nobody knows yet, but what we do know, based on available reports, is that Lauren Sanchez has allegedly drawn a line, and that line appears to be holding. Whether Meghan finds a way around it, over it, or through it remains to be seen. But for now, according to Hollywood insiders, the message is crystal clear. Not everyone who wants access to the kingdom gets past the queen. What do you think? Is Meghan's Hollywood ambition realistic at this point? Or has she already hit the ceiling of what post-royal fame can achieve? Are these reports accurate? Or is this just tabloid speculation, spinning a narrative from thin threads? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into Hollywood's real power dynamics, subscribe, because this story is far from over. The next chapter is already being written. We just don't know who's holding the pen yet.